Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hi, I'm Asher on summer break and about to start second grade. Thanks to awesome people like you who picked Aloe Fiber. They donated $193,000 to schools like mine. This summer, I'm using my fast internet to keep learning, and I can't wait to tell my teacher everything I discovered. So if you're a grown-up picking internet, choose Aloe, because Aloe chooses us, our schools, our town, and our future. Go to aloefiber.com to learn more.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through June 24th are $1 off ground beef, 15% off on aprons, 15% off cornhead beer, and buy one, get one 50% off on brats and hot dogs, limit 2. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio in the heart of Lincoln, America. Youth Football 101. Get a peek into the world of youth football in the state of Nebraska with Tank Perry of Paramount Sports Academy. This is Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, what it do? How's everybody out there today on this beautiful Saturday morning? I'm really fortunate today because you know what we do here, but we have a really special guest and we'll get into it. Sam Manzito, we're super excited to have you here. You're just so full of knowledge. It's always interesting listening to you talk and the dynamics of football and sports as a whole. First of all, I want to reach out and give shout out to Starter Heyman. If you need to text us, if you have any questions today, make sure that you text us at.
Yeah, you can text into the show at 402-464-5685, our Starter Heyman text line.
Okay. Shout out to Edward Stones. Also, shout out to Shields, who handles the equipment for Lincoln Youth Football. Obviously, at the top of the hour, we're talking about Lincoln Youth Football, how it works. We're going to talk about your program as a whole and how you've designed it and developed it over the years and how successful that you are as a whole. Obviously, we want to shout out to the executive board for LYF, Jen Salmon, who can't be here today. He's out with baseball. Craig Price, obviously, he's taking care of Lincoln as a police department officer. And then Mike Salvage, our commissioner. And then all of our board members for all of our teams, which is what we do and makes us special, right?
That's right.
So we're going to jump into this exciting half hour with Sam. So, Sam, I got to tell you, you're probably one of the most prolific guys that I've ever seen here in Lincoln in specific, how you're able to somehow balance your family, a rather large business, and then all of the sports, and then be there for your kids.
Now, you say that about everybody, don't you?
You know, I don't. I like certain things about everybody, and I always want to give people their flowers while they're here. But with you, it's different because as a sponsor, not a sponsor rep, not just an AD, you're at the board meetings every month. You show up.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to. I mean, it's got my name on it, and I really feel called to be a part of it, and it's one of my ways to give back to the community, and I really enjoy being a part of it. So, but thank you, Tank.
Well,
Thank you.
you're a huge part of the community. Your organization, which we're going to talk about it. Me being the new guy, right?
Sure.
Not only on the board, but to come out of retirement 4 or 5 years ago to get involved with Lincoln Youth Football. Your organization really stands out in the way that you've developed it and obviously manage it. And so let's talk about that a little bit. How long have you been doing it? What
Sure.
drove you to do it? Right.
Sure.
And just the organization as a whole. How's that working for you?
Yeah. So, I actually started coaching within the Lincoln Youth Football program for execs.
Okay.
And that was one of the previous sponsored reps about 15 years ago when my oldest son was in fourth grade.
Okay.
And so got started in that program. And a few years into it, one of the other sponsors, Assurity, decided that they'd had enough. They've been in it for 29 years, which they've had a good run at it.
Absolutely.
And so the group needed somebody to step up and take it. And so at the encouragement of Dave Epp, we picked that sponsorship up. And so we've been in it for about 10 years now. I can't believe it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. So I got to experience 1 year with my oldest son. And actually, that was one of the most interesting years because he was on a team that I didn't coach, but in our program.
Yeah.
And I coached a group of kids. It was me and the 3 other dads who'd been coaching together at the other program. We coached a group of kids that we didn't have a kid on the team.
That's crazy.
It was pretty refreshing being a part of that.
Yeah.
But then my youngest one came on as a 3rd grader, and I've kind of followed him up, and this will be his last year as an 8th grader going into this season. So we're really excited about that. But I've been fortunate to have some really just solid people step up and help us run the organization, be coaches for us. We don't have a whole lot of drama on our team, and when we do, we deal with it, and it works out. But a great group of kids, great group of parents. It's been a really positive experience all the way through. We've been real excited to be a part of it.
I think it's incredible because real talk. So when I first came on, even my first year with the Elks before ending up as an athletic director for Terry Neiman, who I have great respect for, Manzito was the name that constantly came up, right? And then watching over the last 3 years, just the overall organization, the uniforms, the kids on the sideline, right? Even now as one of the league officials, it's never really an issue with the Manzito program, right? And so how do you go about that within the inner workings? How does that work? And what are some of the things that you do that have a lot of people wanting to come to your organization on the southeast side of town?
Yeah, first off, we bring on great coaches.
Okay.
And we recruit coaches. We don't recruit players. That's
Right.
not a thing. You can't do that.
You can't do it.
No, but we make sure to bring in good men to help out, and women when they can, to help out and coach our program. And we try to set the tone at the leadership level to make sure that those men are leading these young men.
Yes.
And being a good role model, because ultimately that's what we're here to do. We're here to be good role models for these boys, to boys and girls. There's some girls playing too, but be good role models for all of them, become better people. And that's what we're trying to do. And so I think that culture of just really trying to lead these kids in the right direction is what we're trying to do.
Now, do you think that some of it is your involvement where people can look up and see you at the practices, at the board meetings, through the weekend when we're actually out there on Sundays playing? Is that some of it, that you're leading by example? Or because you seem to be that transformational type of leader where you're transforming coaches and encouraging them to transform kids. But I think it's your presence that really makes the organization stand out.
Well, I can't take credit for that because
Okay.
but thank you.
Yeah.
I do think it's it's really the great head coaches that we're able to put in place and their leadership that all the way through to the assistants and everybody on that team that are helping out is really what sets that tone and that culture for those kids. But,
I love it. And
yeah.
so the coaches, how long are they with you, generally speaking?
Yeah. So our program, the way we've typically done it is a group of coaches will start with some kids at either rookie or D, and then they'll kind of grow with those kids and they'll go up through the ranks when it's appropriate. And they'll kind of merge when they get to C, B, A, but for the most part, they'll try and take the group of kids all the way through. That seemed to have worked for us. We can build some good relationship with the parents and the players. But that seemed to have worked to us. And then the kids gel. The kids really get to. So there's this kind of a similar core group of kids for the most part each season that are playing with each other, kind of give or take depending on who comes in. But so that has really worked well for us. I do have a couple of coaches out there that don't have kids on the team anymore. So I'm excited about some of those guys stepping up. I mean, some of those are the best ones to have out there. The ones without the kids.
No skin in the game,
Yeah.
but they're committed and loyal in their volunteer service for the community.
Yeah.
Right. That's huge.
Yeah.
So in your program, they work through. So that really shows because you have a ton of championships for the city through the years, right? And how do you guys prepare for that every year as people want to knock off Manzito, right? Got to knock off Manzito to get to the top, right?
Yeah. We just teach these kids no quit, no, just full effort, great attitude. We just push them all the way through, persistence and just, make sure they understand that, we're here to win, but we're here to learn.
Yes.
We're here to have fun.
Yeah.
Our goal with every season is to bring the kids back next year.
Yes.
And so, part of that, a lot of times, is having a good winning experience, having a good experience as a team. And so we try to really work with the kids and make sure that's the case. And we're starting to do this a little bit more alignment with some of the high schools.
Yes.
Which I'm really excited about.
We're going to talk about that. I love it.
Yeah. So I think you can, if you see how we're doing it, where we're kind of keeping a somewhat core group of coaches and kids go all the way from rookie or D or even C, B, and A, all the way up. I think you're starting to see how that will align with what those high schools will end up getting. We're handing over these teams now, potentially, hopefully.
Yes.
We're handing these teams over to these high school coaches that are primed and they're ready.
Yes.
I always thought that, my experience with my oldest son, he's now going to be a senior in college, to give you a perspective. He, when he went from his eighth grade A coaching experience in Lincoln Youth Football and went to ninth grade, nothing against those coaches at ninth grade, but the team just kind of took a step back because it was a whole hodgepodge of kids coming together that hadn't played together. They didn't have that trust of each other. They didn't have the knowledge. They didn't have any of that stuff. So it's neat to see how that kind of grows each year, and hopefully we can turn that into something.
Well, I think so, because one of the things that we always talk about here on the show is the explosion of training throughout the city, the explosion of Lincoln Youth Football doing more camps, the explosion of some of the Huskers coming back and doing their camps. Obviously, Matt Rule does his camp from the university, but it seems like football is really trickling down into the youth sports, which is one of the reasons that the board that we talked about, me starting this program a couple of years ago, right, was the fact of the importance of coaches not saying, hey, when I get these kids at high school, I have to retrain them. But you and I know that's not necessarily all of it. That is a piece of it. But there are a lot of kids that have never played before, and we're really trying to identify on that. But now with this alignment that we're going to talk about, we have an opportunity to potentially, because we still have open borders. So despite how the district has restructured and reshuffled, which I think is good, right? it's unique in the way that there's still open borders, so people can still go where they want to go. I don't know how much longer that's going to last, but
Yeah.
in your area, who do you feed into the high school, and what type of relationships do you have with the coaches there and the AD?
Sure. Yeah, we feed into Standing Bear. And,
Okay.
and Standing Bear, the coaches, I would argue, are some of the coaches I see most of the time out on Sundays.
Yes.
And I've got 2 of their coaches on my staff for the A team this year, and they've been with us the past 3 years. I mean, they've got one is somebody I just brought in he's just great. Eddie Cecilia was on the show last year, and he's our offensive coordinator. But also Dave Leader, who's been a line coach in I think for Southeast for a long time, and then for Standing Bear here recently. So having that culture, having those guys pop in and out to talk to us and just see what's happening and just be around, I think is really cool. So we're still trying to figure it out.
Yes.
We're still trying to figure out how do we kind of work together. The fortunate thing for me is Eddie, I believe, works with the quarterbacks at Standing Bear at the lower levels. And so now he's teaching, and he's running our offense. He's our offensive coordinator. So he's teaching the same, lingo. He's teaching the same kind of play methodology to my kids in our program. So that will help, I think.
Yeah. It will translate, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're doing some of the things that's necessary. Obviously, we're often compared to Omaha, which is a lot larger market as a whole. But I really feel like in the things that are happening in the community, we've got FBU that now does a program, Football University, that does a system here. A lot of those kids throughout Nebraska are getting the golden ticket to go down to Florida to be able to compete with some of the best kids out there. We have the training that we're doing. We have the connections with the coaches that I think is really essential. I think that those relationships will only begin to refine over time. And I think that the play, like one of the things that I've noticed in my 4 years of being involved is from the time that I came, the quarterback, receiver, and DB play is so much more better. When I first came here, we were not throwing. It was a lot of smash mouth football, a lot of the older look of what we felt that the glory days of Nebraska was. And now you see the game changing. You see kids in rookie beginning to become sensational players by the things that they're seeing. I think some of it, obviously, is social media, the off-season training that's happening. How is that, do you think, running into what you guys are doing as a whole?
Well, it's kind of neat because Eddie does a good job of running a pretty dynamic offense. And so it's fun to see on the weekends when I'm watching a football game, like an NFL game, or even a college game, where you might see a unique play. Hey, I'm like, that's what we're running.
Yes.
And I'm not the offensive guru.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, exactly.
But he is.
Yes.
And so that's kind of neat. And so the kids can then see that and be like, well, wait, that's our play.
Yes.
We run that.
We run that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're getting better at executing them.
Yes.
And they did pretty well this last year. I mean, obviously we won the city championships. That was exciting. But so that's a lot of fun to see how that works out and how those guys go together like that. It's really pretty exciting time to be in the football program with this. So
and I think that we're doing an amazing job in your program specifically, because the last couple of years, I think you've won 4 city championships.
3. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's pretty impressive. And last year, literally, you almost had a clean sweep last year.
It wasn't but for your team.
Well. I appreciate
you got a pretty good team there. I wonder if we see some of those guys on A this year.
Huh? Yeah. And it's crazy because that particular team, we'll get back to you, they're actually super young. So they'll be, some of them will actually stay on C that are going into 6th grade, and then a few of them will go into 7th. So we'll have to see what Rob comes up with.
And, we kind of try and follow that same kind of path. 8th graders on A for the most part.
Yes.
7th graders on B for the most part, and 6th graders on C. If we can do that, that's what we try and do.
Yeah. And this year is going to be interesting. Are we about to break We're good.
Yeah, you guys got a few minutes.
So this is going to be interesting, right? So with this dynamics and restructure, we really don't know.
No,
we got our hands in the cookie jar best as we can.
Yep.
Right. But we really don't know how it's all going to shake out.
Well, it's unique this year too because of the junior bolts. The junior bolts is really going to is really exciting. I mean, a shout out to the junior bolts. They've already pretty much filled their team.
Yes.
And where we got to get everybody to get their registrations in because the rest of it hasn't filled out yet. So
they have a distinct advantage that I think they're doing a really, really solid job.
Yep.
Because those kids are in their system and going to dump into their programs, and which I think as Lincoln begins to see this more, right?
Yeah.
That you'll see maybe the shift in the borders because they'll come out and compete really within a couple of years.
Yeah.
Just because they're all doing the exact same system all the way through, minus a few dynamics, right?
Yeah.
Here, I mean, I'm from Texas. And so in that market as a whole, you saw the feed all the way through. And so these kids were getting after it in ninth grade. Ninth grade was as competitive as the high school, right?
Sure.
And so here, I think that those shifts, and I'm really excited to see how it shakes out, right? How it begins to work, because I think that Standing Bear is going to come in line really fast. I mean, they've got a really good coach over there, head coach, who's really pounding the pavement, who's really planning for the future. And I think that your team being who you are, I think is going to help them to come around a lot quicker in what they're doing. Yeah. So are you going to, I know you can't speak for him to the fullest, but do you think that you guys will begin to run some of the same plays or similar that the high school's running?
Yeah, well, I know that for sure, at least at the A level, because of my offense coordinator being Eddie, and he's one of the Standing Bear coaches. So that for sure. The issue, the thing that will be interesting is how do we, and this is what I've been talking to Adam a little bit about, is how do we start to incorporate that at the lower levels?
Yes,
and just getting everybody speaking the same lingo. You know, can we add a play or two each year, add a formation or two each year, so that they kind of their curriculum of learning the Standing Bear program grows as their time in Mankato football, extends.
Because it's the familiarity, right?
Yep.
It's the total familiarity of the program as you get through.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've been really talking about and beating the drum for years until, I'm kind of at a platform that I'm kind of heard. So it's almost a travesty, right? Not that anybody's intentionally done that, but because there's no middle school ball at the junior high level or a junior high team, many of these kids are not lifting weights and getting what the high school programs of the kids that are dumping into high school.
Right.
So that 12 years of age to 14 is really something to behold, because now these kids are on the sideline for ninth grade.
Yeah.
Looking at teams when they get to the playoffs or into the season from other towns going, holy smoke, let's look at the size difference, the speed, the footwork, the skill sets. So how are you in your program, whether it's you're doing it now or in the future, how do you look at combating that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like you said, there's quite a bit of training going on. And I think a lot of the kids understand that. I remember Des Moines Adams making the comment that, hey, the next season starts right now.
Yes.
as the season ends. So you're starting that training process. And our boys are doing that. They're getting out, they're running hills, they're getting into the gym, they're lifting a little bit. You gotta be careful on how much they lift at that age, because
absolutely
growth plates and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
But they're getting out there and they're doing some training. It's just kind of building that culture of, hey, let's get better. Let's keep better. We know everybody's going to be after us this year. We've won the championship.
Yes.
We had 2 of them last year.
Yes.
So we got to make sure we can come back and defend that. And
yes,
we're going to work hard to do so.
And I'm sure defending that you guys will. I mean, again, the program is just incredible. So before we go to commercial, what are some of the things that you like that the board is doing? What are some of the things that we could probably do a little bit better?
Sure. With this boundary change, I think my team was the one that was most impacted because I had, on 3 borders. And so I had to work real hard and not work real hard. The board did a good job of helping me kind of give people the option to stay in or stay out to help us make that transition. There was a little bit of a band-aid being ripped off. So that I think they did a great job doing that. Along those same lines, you just kind of communicating the whole process. I think we do the best we can to communicate that, hey, we've got open registrations right now. The borders are changing, but just getting people out there. There could be some other ways we could improve on that. I don't know what those are personally. Sure. But I do think we got to just keep pushing it the best we can. So,
good.
Yeah.
And I think those are really solid answers. So we're going to go to break. We're going to come back and visit with Sam another 5 or 10 minutes. He's got to get out of here. Maybe even 5 minutes, and get you out of here so you can get into your day because you're super busy. I get that. And so, again, I want to thank you for coming out.
You bet.
And we'll visit with Sam at the top of the next hour.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
The Lincoln Light Guy salutes the men and women of our military and veterans for the sacrifices they've made. Keep them in your thoughts, prayers, and letters from home until these trying times are over. Our troops are fighting hard around the clock to defend our great country and keep freedom alive worldwide. For this, we salute them and may God bless America. This from Lincoln Light Guy. Locally owned and operated, installing and servicing permanent, holiday, and special occasion lighting for your home or business.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Safety is always at the top of mind at Lincoln Electric System. The safety of our employees and the safety of our customers. It's National Safety Month. Visit les.com/safety for tips on all things related to electrical safety.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back with Sam. My phone's filling up with questions about the open borders and about the districts and yada, yada, yada. I've got about 5 more minutes with Sam because he's like super busy. And again, appreciate him always showing up. So in this redistricting and what we've done and how we now have 7 teams that are feeding in the high schools and the junior balls feed into their own program, which I happen to think is good, that's got to have impacted you major, where you have to use a lot of personal skills and business skills to go, how do I navigate these uncharted waters? How's that working out for you?
It's going okay. Like I mentioned earlier, what I did is I reached out to a lot of the parents who we have an idea of where they might fall.
Right.
From a district standpoint, and just to give them the option to stay in the program if they want to. Ultimately, my message to them was, hey, I just want them playing football. Yep.
Yeah.
So if they want to stay in our program, great. If they want to go in a different direction, no problem. Just stay out there. So I just wanted to try and get that out if we could. I'm excited about, that change. I'm excited about, trying to keep the kids in the districts they're at. If we can get to the point where we have 80% of those kids staying in that high school program, that's going to be a real advantage to those coaches, those high school coaches. We're not going to get everybody. Not everybody's going to stay playing football, but if we can get 80%, 85% where they go in that district and they stay in that district, I think that's going to be a real advantage to those guys moving forward.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, this is not Texas. And please understand, everybody who listens to my show knows, I was 22, 23 years ago for me, coming through that ring. But in those areas and the crowd participation, you not only had parents and guardians and grandparents, but you have the communities at large in their area. And that's something that I want to see. I want to see those high school stadiums full. Right. Of people that are just coming out and showing out, especially with the few places that we play at when we're at home. It really, really should be packed by the community. And that's one of the things that we're trying to do with the show. And so I think on the heels of what you're saying, it is really important to retent and continue to train 80 to 85% of the kids that are in those districts so they are able to flourish in football, because there's a lot of opportunities. I mean, Midwest has some of the strongest Division II programs in the nation that are coming out throughout the Midwest, right? Or which are traveling distance from Nebraska, right? So it's not like you have to go a long, long way to get good D2 and smaller D1 football. And so how can we be more of a part of that? Because ultimately, I do sometimes when I talk to parents see the disconnect that as soon as they get into the high school program, if little Johnny's not starting as a superstar, they kind of fall back a little bit. And that's the time you want to push a little bit harder. But prior to that, and what we're talking, what about the training and what about the dedication now and making sure that LYF at South Street is full, right, on Sundays. Like just people everywhere and people in the community wondering, like that's one thing that I think that we're missing. Like consumers going, who's the next stars on their way to high school? Who's the next stars in high school on their way to the next program? And we're not going to find out and know that because prep can't give it all to us. You got to get out there and really see what's going on. And I think LYF is an amazing stadium and place to play at on Sundays.
You bet.
Right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
No, I 100% agree. And it's exciting too because we're talking about doing an expansion. We've got some plans that we're getting started on. We're doing some fundraising related to that. And we'll talk more about that later. But we're really excited about pushing that. We'll have a couple full-size fields there eventually, which I know is in some people's mind part of the issue when you get to that A level that those kids should be playing on a full-size field. It's almost a full-size field.
Yeah.
But that'll be exciting to have that for the kids. We continue to push these kids to do bigger and better things, to train them better, and hopefully as they continue to do what they do, they stay engaged and they get their friends back out. What's crazy about today is when I was in high school, when I was in grade school, everybody played. Everybody, everybody played football. There was very few people who didn't. And you played football, and if you're good enough, you played basketball too. In today's day, it's you kind of get siloed into one sport, and I don't love that. There's a lot of great football players playing basketball. There's a lot of great basketball players playing not playing football. So you know what I mean.
No.
And those kids, we're missing out on that. We're missing that talent. They're at an age where I think they get burnt out, and it's okay. Yes, I'd love for my son was a 2-year starter at Pius, and I would have loved to have seen him play D2 or D3 at basketball or at football. It would have been fun.
Yeah.
But he also had just a really good experience at high school, playing with his friends, learning teamwork, learning hard work, learning dedication. And that's okay. Then he said, Dad, you know what? My brain's gonna get me a lot farther than my body will. So I'm going to go and, just get a good college degree and be good with that. So
intramurals in college as well always help. And
sure, you bet.
College life when you have a good thing. So what you said really touched home. So what you may not know this about me. So I'm a historian by degree. So one of my theses were actually about the history of sports in Lincoln, Nebraska, and where we stand. And a lot of people are not aware how good the youth and high school programs were in the 60s and 70s, where Lincoln was just dominant in basketball and football. And we've kind of lost some of that ire, if you will.
Hey, we were good in the 90s too.
My
Pius team won a state championship.
Yes. And Southeast won one. Also mid 2000s. So football has been a big thing, and we want to not get back to glory, but to move forward as the game changes, because the game is getting faster all the way down to the lower level. Listen, I know you got to go. We can talk all day. But you got some things you got to go. So listen, everybody, Sam Manzino, thank you for taking the time coming out here. Thank you for what you do in the community on the business side, as well as youth football, obviously basketball, baseball as well. And thanks for giving up some of your personal time today to join us out here.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some more things. Football 101. How about that? Sam, thanks.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Hi, I'm Asher. I'm summer break and about to start second grade. Thanks to awesome people like you who picked Aloe Fiber. They donated $193,000 to schools like mine. This summer, I'm using my fast internet to keep learning, and I can't wait to tell my teacher everything I discovered. So if you're a grown-up picking internet, choose Aloe, because Aloe chooses us, our schools, our town, and our future. Go to aloefiber.com to learn more.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes tickets to Michigan or USC, plus Akron or Houston Christian, and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives. That's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before. And it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln, 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
The skies. Adventure comes in all sizes, from quick escapes and long weekends to true off-the-grid retreats. Paddle, hike, camp, explore. Whether you have a few hours or a few days, we'll guide you to a state park or recreation area that's a perfect fit. Start your next adventure today at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with pay starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Back to Youth Football 101 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What it do? Hey, I'm your man Tank. We are here live in the studio. We're gonna wrap up all things football. You know, all my guys are outside and busy and doing things. Getting a bunch of texts about guys not being here today. Everybody's just busy. That's where we're at as far as that's concerned. Let's get the energy up this last 5 or 10 minutes, and let's just talk about some things going on. So this part of the hour, obviously, is about off-season training, all things football 101 continued. We're going to talk about Paramount Football Academy. That's an indoor football facility here in Lincoln. We're doing a lot of stuff, man. I mean, just tons of trainings going on. We've got, kids from all areas of Lincoln training Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's like, I think $10 or come for free if you don't have it. We're just trying to really make sure that kids are getting off their duff if they're not playing additional sports. And actually, or even if they are and they have time from 6 to 8 on Tuesday and Thursday, they're getting there, moving around, getting a football in their hand, working on just developmental skill that they're going to need in the football season. So that's really important. So a lot of really cool things happening. So one of the things finally, because of the good people of Lincoln and the success that I've had here, so I actually have corporate office finally that we've been blessed with that I've opened here on N Street. So anytime you want to stop by 1200 N Street, the Atrium building, courtesy of Speedway, shout out to them. Feel free to stop there and visit with me. I'm in Suite 214, been there just about a week. And so all of the things that I do are now under one major address where I have really sharp people that are coming in and helping me to think things through and make better decisions as a whole. So over time, it just gets better for the city of Lincoln. It gets better for folks in football. Obviously, the security company I own is up there as well. So again, if you want to come and visit me at any time, to talk about football, security, whatever the case may be, help yourself coming out to 1200 N Street here downtown, the Atrium Building, Suite 214. I can also be reached at, I think it's Perry Enterprises, or let me just give you another, Robert Perry 015 at gmail. How about that? .com. So there's tons of emails to hit me at, but Robert Perry 015 at gmail.com. And obviously my number is everywhere, but it's 402-310-3589. Promise it's a live person. I'll answer. One of the trainings we also have is a guy named Coach Wilbur. He's doing some advanced training on Tuesdays and Thursdays that is really impressive. And so if you have a kid that you feel wants a little bit more advanced training, anywhere from his focus is 10 to 14 or older, come by and get signed up with him on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. He's there at 6 as well. The facility is plenty big to get the training that they need. 707 is finally over. We had a lot of success in Nebraska this year. I'm planting the seed now because it's really about to amp up for next year. And so coaches, kids, parents, be thinking about getting your kids an off-season training for 7-on-7. We've really developed the landscape for Lincoln, Nebraska in the last 3 years since opening Nebraska Football 7-on-7 that focuses on 7-on-7 tournaments here in Nebraska, focuses on getting teams developed to get that off-season training reps. The uniforms are really cool. The environment is super exciting as well. I'm working with some really great guys up in Omaha. Shout out to Greg Whitmire in Omaha, who has a very similar vision that I do. But we've gone from literally just a few teams to just a plethora of teams. The tournaments are huge. Folks are coming from 6 states around us. We got folks coming from Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, South Dakota, Illinois. And then the things that we're doing are spreading out further, where teams are actually developing programs a lot further. We have Sioux City coming through. We got a brand new program out of South Dakota that's coming and visiting us, competing. And we're trying to find ways for all of us to keep getting our kids developed, because at the end of the day, remember, it's not about any person individually. It's about the platform for Nebraska to get better recruits, not only for our colleges in state, but if they desire to go elsewhere, for them to be more talented, right? And the reps. And so these kids right now, I think I say this every time, but just to be clear, I remember when I started these programs a few years ago, you had 8-year-olds that could not understand how to catch a ball while they were moving. And now you've got 8 to 10-year-olds for the 10 under teams that are one-handed catches, that are reverse angling, that are coming off with great precision in their training, that they're actually executing, understanding spacing. We've got kids understanding what it means to be a DB and how to cover stop the inside or the outside release. So it's just really working. We've got some super safeties that are developing throughout Lincoln, Nebraska as well. Watching those guys learn how to come down and break on the ball is crazy. I'm really looking forward to seeing a few of them actually play tackle, and how strong the safeties are here in Lincoln Youth Football, watching these kids that have been playing 7-on-7 throughout the summer and understanding what a safety is all about, both strong side and weak side. So, and the coverages, like to watch these kids call coverages during a game, whether it's cover 3, high-low, they're just doing a spectacular job. Also, shout out to all of the coaches that have coached for me for some years now for Nebraska Red Wolves, in the direction that we're going. Those coaches are giving up their time during the regular season of tackle. Then they're turning around, not getting much of a break, given time for another 4 to 5 to 6 months in 7-on-7, traveling as well as doing some tournaments here. So shout out to those guys, Coach Erwin Swinney, Coach Crash, Henry Livingston, my son, Coach Rob, Coach August, that's doing an amazing job. And the list just goes on and on. Justin Maine, a lot of new guys to the program, Austin Soper. So the list just goes on and on and on of people that are giving their time. Our new strength and conditioning coaches at Paramount, Brian Reber and Grant Wassenberger. I mean, I have seen, listen, Lincoln, I have seen these kids start this program a month ago, 6 weeks ago. And every time I go in there on a Tuesday or Thursday when I'm outside of a meeting, watching a kid that started with them 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, and their development, and their ability to lift weights is incredible. And watching the movement, because they've got some big guys that are coming from all of the different teams around Lincoln that are just in there getting it done. So don't miss that opportunity, because right now, Sam Manzito said it really well earlier. Football training starts now. The last game of the season last year, getting that training in here and there. Parents, I'm encouraging you, don't wait, right, until the season starts, right, July 31st. That's the first day of practice. If you wait until July 31st and you've done other things but no football training, then that's really the direction that you may not want to be. You want to get those kids to training now, even if it's an hour or two in the evenings at some of these free programs, $10 programs. I always tell people when they ask me, like when they call me and say, hey, what kind of training does my kid need? Kids need specific training that is about them. I think it's really cool for them to go other places, but when they get that hands-on one-on-one training or small group training, you can see the difference. Hey, listen, I'm Tank Perry. I'm repping my city, Lincoln, Nebraska. Hey, Justin, all of you guys that are out there, I appreciate you guys always holding me up. Jim, Mike, mentors that I have, Terry Neiman. Hey, let's just keep going and make Nebraska just a strong youth program for 101. Hey, thank you so much for having me today. And
of course.
Sitting on the board as usual.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you guys later. Peace.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride?